Hi everyone, welcome to Conversation with Within. My name is Nanda Araújo. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be here today, connect with you guys one more time. If you are new to my channel, please feel free to subscribe it and like this video or any other video that you watch on my YouTube channel. This way, help more people, connect, with you guys. I do suggest, that you watch this conversation today to the beginning to the end because so many things that we are going to talk here today they can help in your personal life right now for whatever that you are facing or they can help in your spiritual growth as well. My guest today, her name is Christina Maffia, right?
Yeah.
I
Yes,
pronounce correct?
with
Yeah,
two F's.
with you as Christina Maffia. She's a subconscious transformation specialist and a hypnotherapist devoted to help people break lifelong patterns and come home to themselves. Her work bridges on science and the spirits, helping people rewrite limited beliefs, rebuild boundaries, and awaken the inner wisdom that they are always been there. Christina does not just talk about the healing, she creates lasting transformation. This is beautiful. Her work was born for her own journey through grief, self abandonment, and the rebuild from the inside out. The tools she has now, she uses to teach us, and they are the same ones the ones who helped her to find her inner voice, reclaim her worth, and come home to herself. Thank you so much, Christina, to be here today, to take some time to talk with you guys, talking about a little bit, your gift is in about yourself as well. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I'm really excited.
Okay, me too as well. I just like to ask a question that I always ask in the beginning for my guests. What type of belief did you were raised, by your parents as a child?
Yeah, well, when you start saying belief, I think about so many different things because right away I go to spiritual belief, what type of belief was instilled in me as a young child. I grew up Catholic, so I would say that was one belief that was instilled in me. And then something else that comes up right away is this belief that in order to move through the world, I had to be a really hard worker. It's this belief that I'm struggling still with now that is like, when is something enough or good enough? And so that's the two things that right away when you said belief, I go to. It's that religious belief of being Catholic, and the structure there, and then this other belief of always needing to achieve, always needing to work hard.
Yeah, I was raised as a Catholic as well in Brazil. To my mother, friends invite to her to this metaphysical place. And then after that, she never go back again to Catholic Church. I don't judge any beliefs. I don't judge any religion. I believe everyone, can do whatever they want,
Yeah.
believe whatever they
Well,
want.
I agree with you. I don't judge them, but I've learned through this work that a lot of our beliefs really make us who we are at such a young age.
Yes.
And they also kind of direct us onto the path of life that we take because I've noticed that belief really it takes you almost into this you're only focused on 12% of what you see in front of you, and sometimes the rest of the world is kind of it's almost hidden or outside of that. So growing up Catholic, I learned that that was like the right religion, or if you were doing something other than that, it was very, I don't like to use the word punished, but looked upon poorly. And so for a long time, I got really into this belief that everything had to be done a certain way. If I wasn't showing up, putting in hard work or effort or being a good Catholic, that I was like a bad person. So for a long time, I carried that with me. And I struggled a lot with, at a young age, that connection to God.
Yes, that's very beautiful. I faced a lot of things as well, but remember when I was a child, I used to tell my mom, even my brother and my two sisters as well, that we were very uncomfortable, inside the church, but something about the energy. So I studied a lot of religion as I grew up and s- about so many things. I'm not gonna go to details right now, but anyway, so now I understand now as adult. because back then I was so young, 5, 6, 7 years old, I don't know anything about religion or spirituality, anything at all. I was just so little. I was still learning so much. But I felt the energy, was not for me. That's the best way I can. The energy was not for me. I was in,
Yeah.
I was saying, Mama, let's get out of here. Mama, let's get out of here. But the day she, like I said, she took me, my brothers and sisters to this metaphysical place. Oh God, we felt the connection right away. I never forgot. I was very young. I was about 7, 8 years old. I
Well,
never.
when you're between those ages, when you're between the ages of 5 and 7, you're the most impressionable.
Yeah,
And so as young kids, we come into the world and we are actually really connected. We feel so much, but we're also like these little sponges. And as children, our parents are supposed to guide us and direct us, right? So we naturally look to our parents to kind of instill these ideas or beliefs in us. But still, as young little beings, we have this intuition that we kind of lose as we get older. And so, like what you're saying, you knew something didn't feel right in that environment. And then when you went into the metaphysical store, you could feel the energy because kids are so in tuned.
yeah. This I'm gonna take a couple minutes to talk about this. I have an 8 years old son. I never force him, and I'm never gonna force him to do anything that I do or believe the things that I believe. Not at all. I talk to him. I explain to him a lot of things about energies. I'm constantly talk to him and suggesting to him. I say, if you resonate with you, Elias, that's fine. If not, this release. But I'm trying to say he's the one that asked me to do things. Let's do this together. Let's go live, send light, love, healing energy for people. I have altar over there. Sometimes we go there. He changes things, the crystals position, put it this here, put it there. I have crystals everywhere inside my place. He go there, change, but he's always ask. Sometimes he has, Daddy, do rake on me here, please. No. Or ask Daddy, let's pray. You know what I mean? So, because I do things since he was a baby, but when I like to say, like once again, that I never forced for him to do anything. But what I love about him so much, he's gonna be 9 years old in April. That he never ever complain about anything about that I do. I say,
Wow.
oh, I don't like this. Oh, even the music. I want to listen music, like a new age music, like meditation music, things like that. Never once in a me he could, Daddy, can you change a little bit? He always, because I'm divorced, and when he's to me, every time that I'm with you, you always play the same music, you talk about the same thing. Never ever he complain. He just listen. He likes. Even when he has some music, that I used to play when he was 2, 3 years old,
Uh-huh.
meditation music. Sometimes he said, Daddy, can you play the Buddha music? Because there has a little a child, I mean, meditated close to Buddha. So he
Uh-huh.
still remember that. They sometimes I play the music, but once again, I just let him, do his things, do his things. If you want to grow up, he decide to follow my steps, that's fine. If not, that's fine. But I decide to allowed him to choose what he wants to do.
Yes, yes. Well, because what you said, you used the word suggestible.
Yeah,
And I would
yeah,
use that in I do hypnotherapy. So hypnotherapy is basically when we're younger, we're very hypnotizable, which just means
yeah,
open to suggestion. So as parents, and parents think they're doing a good job, it's not, they just haven't been taught any different. And as all parents, we make mistakes. So parents are suggesting usually their own things on children, right? And then it doesn't allow them necessarily to step into how they're feeling. Not that parents shouldn't be able to guide a kid because that's important to have those boundaries, but kids are very suggestible. So if we start to tell them things about our beliefs that like maybe religion, how it's been very structured, and we place that on our children, then they start to pick up those things. And as we get older, those beliefs can affect us in the way we show up in life. So you're doing a beautiful thing by kind of giving him suggestion, but you're creating a safe space so that he can be himself, which is so beautiful.
yeah, it is. I'm doing my best. I always tell him, Elias, that is not perfect, I mean? But I always do my best. Once again, this to what I tell him, I say this to him all the time. I'm gonna do my best that I can to help understand. how control your emotions, your feelings, and thoughts, because everything is energy. So when you grow up, you can be in a better place, better than me, better than your mother,
Yes.
and better than a lot of people. You know what I mean? But I think we need to allow the children to be themselves instead to force them to believe in something.
Well,
That's
and I
this is my
heard
personal opinion.
yeah, and I heard someone say that we're really as parents, you're just playing a role in your child's life, and your child's playing a role in your life. If we go to religion and we go to really what the higher perspective
Yeah,
is of that, is there's whatever religion it is, there's a higher power, is what everybody believes. And so, and if you don't believe in higher power, you believe in science or
yeah,
nature, right? So Mother Earth is the higher power. And in that higher power, it's really not the parent that we're going to as we get older. It's God, it's nature. That's where we're supposed to connect. And I feel like in my childhood, I didn't get taught that. I was taught you go to church, you go to the priest, you look to other people for that connection. And I felt like that was really hard for me because I always felt like God was within. And I remember being a young child, and a lot of things I went through was I felt a lot of energy, like you're saying, and I think kids do. And so I would kind of try to take that on as my own, whether it was my parents' beliefs or my parents fought a lot when I was younger, so I would take a lot of that on.
yeah,
And they were very strict about like the family looking together, or like we were following these religious things without needing to be judged, because my parents did not like to be judged. And I think that's also a generational thing. A lot of
yeah,
people kind of kept themselves looking a certain way so that they weren't seen as doing bad or the wrong thing. And I feel like that's really more of a religious belief than an actual spiritual belief, you know?
yeah. Christian, let me ask you something. You mentioned here that from your work was born from your own journey through grief, self-abandonment, and some other things. Do you like to talk a little bit more because what you are doing right now, what led you to do what you're doing right now?
Yes, I would love to. I feel like before I even got into any of this healing work, doing hypnosis, sound healing, it was really more for my own self, my own personal growth. Growing up, like I said, I came from a family that was, they fought a lot. Being an adult now, I always thought I had like a really perfect upbringing.
Yeah,
But I
yeah, me too.
but I look back and I was like, it was actually very destructive and chaotic and very toxic.
My too. Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
My parents were constantly fighting, and I think that I just thought, like, as a little person, I was supposed to be responsible and hold it all together. And so as I grew up, I kept a lot of stuff in. I kept a lot of emotions
me
in.
too.
Yeah, lot of the way I felt in. And I was really lucky because people always tell me, I don't know how you didn't get into like drugs and alcohol. I definitely got into drinking a little bit as a coping mechanism. But I think my coping mechanism was I was always working and I was always taking care of other people. That's the way I kept myself distracted for a lot of years of my life. Was if I could help others, I wouldn't have to deal with my own suffering. And if I could kind of work
Mm,
hard and make
this is
money.
beautiful.
You used to go through that too.
Yeah, no, no, I'm just listening. Go ahead, go ahead.
Well, and that's, I mean, that's really an addiction in itself, thinking I could fix people and, always be working. So that was more of the route I went down. And at some point, it came to a head when I was about in my 20s. Um, I kind of always felt like I was an old soul. I'm a Capricorn, so I think I was always working really young. I started working at 15. And when I got in about my mid 20s, late 20s, um, I had a partner that I was with, and I thought I was going to get married and have kids because that's what my upbringing had taught me. And my whole life came crumbling down. He actually ended up having to go to prison, which was a terrible thing at the time. And so my whole life idea of where it was going, it just fell apart. And in that moment of it falling apart, I really didn't realize that it was actually falling together,
Yes.
because I started just diving down this rabbit hole of self-help, reading all the books. One of my favorites was Pima. She talks about struggle and hardship. I read like the Eckhart Tolle books, The
Yeah.
Untethered Soul. So I just started reading, immersing myself in information.
Yes.
At first, it was a little challenging for me because I felt like I was like God had punished me or something was wrong with me. So I definitely started to question my Catholic upbringing. I thought all of this stuff I had been told what a lie it was. So I started trying other religious stuff. I got into some Buddhism stuff, some Hinduism stuff. I started doing yoga. I took my teacher training. I wanted to find out, like, I was like, there's got to be more. Something
Yes.
doesn't, make sense. So as I started down that journey, I started to realize that it was almost like as I started down that journey, I thought I was getting further away from what I learned, but it actually was taking me back in a full circle to everything that I had learned.
Yes. 100%. Yes.
Yeah. It was definitely a lonely journey. I remember I was very lucky because I did have my sister and she was into this kind of stuff, but it always felt like something was different or something was, I always felt things really deeply. So I always felt like, certain people didn't understand me or I was very emotional or too much. So I think that was a little bit of a struggle on the journey that I had to go through. But I think once I started to get into yoga and then sound healing, everything started to change for me because I got more connected to my body.
No, no, this. I love you so much because I feel like that I'm talking a mirror, with myself because I went through the same thing. This is so beautiful. Please keep
Yeah.
going. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, I feel like we're always mirroring each other reflections, right?
yeah,
There's no
yeah.
mistakes that we're on this podcast today.
Yeah, go
And
ahead,
hopefully
go ahead.
whoever's listening, maybe they're feeling somewhat similar because I know there's people out there. But when I started my yoga journey, that was hard for me because I was very hyper independent from working all the time. So to go in and be with community felt a little foreign to me, even though I
Mm-hmm.
had grown up in this big Italian family where everyone was super enmeshed with each other. And I think some of it was too, I was trying to
Yes,
get away from, I was trying to get away from my Italian family because they were so enmeshed, right? And I had no boundaries at that point. So when I started to go into these community places, I felt a little uncomfortable, a little scared, and like, what if people were going to judge me? So at first, I would go in very quiet. I would always sit in the back. I wouldn't engage much. And then as I started to spend more and more time with people that were into the things I started to get into, yoga, sound healing, I was like, wow, this is an amazing space. God is actually really in community. It's in other people. It's not in a
yes,
church.
yes, yes,
And this is the support I've been looking for that helped me start to like open myself up and start to grow more. From there, I then went into hypnosis, which that is a whole nother story. Hypnotherapy changed my life. I didn't know what it was so much at the time. I was super into Dr. Brian Weiss. Are you familiar with him?
no, no, never heard.
Oh, Dr. Brian Weiss, he wrote the book Many Lives, Many Masters, and
Mm,
he was a psychotherapist. So when I was younger, I did a lot of therapy, the typical therapy, which was wonderful, but I always felt like something, excuse me, something was missing in those sessions. Like there was wonderful tools, but it almost felt like the energy was missing or the emotional connection was missing. And so Dr. Brian Weiss, he was a psychotherapist and he actually went into past life therapy.
mm,
So when you think of a psychotherapist, they're doing more like prescribing prescription meds for
yes.
people, right? And he actually had a woman, he was back in the 80s, like before all this stuff was even talked about. He was back in the 80s and he had a woman come into his office and he said when he was doing therapy with her, she started going into these past life memories, which he had no idea what they were at the time. And so he just kind of went along with it, right? Like, let me see where this is going to take her. Well, he was in these sessions and he said, the woman started to say, your son's here, your father's here. like people who had passed, and the internet wasn't back then, so she couldn't look them up. He was like, this has to be like real. Like, how is she doing this? And so as soon as I saw about past life regression, I felt so drawn to it. Like I just knew it was something I had to get into. I felt like that was the deeper layer to therapy because talk therapy is beautiful, but as human beings, we're not really good at listening.
That's
We're not
something that I
really-
learned. I know how to listen, but before I was cut off. But I was myself way to protect myself. I
Right.
just yeah. Go ahead. Yeah,
Well, we want to respond. We want
yeah,
to,
yeah,
and
yeah,
a lot of times we're not really good at communicating either.
yeah,
And it's not in a bad way. It's just the truth of us as human beings. So
yeah,
the past life or hypnosis, because there's past life hypnosis, there's also inner child hypnosis. But with hypnosis, a therapist isn't telling you something. They're just holding space and you're telling yourself. So it's like when I did it, I was like, whoa, epiphany, light bulb, because a lot of times people tell me something, I wouldn't always do it. I would, in fact, do the opposite. A lot of us do it. But if you tell yourself something, now you got to do it.
yeah. Yes, I love the way you explained. Yes, yes, yeah,
So that's what took me down that journey. And I'm a huge believer in signs. At this point, me and my sister this was like 12 years ago, me and my sister had been doing a lot of like meditations. We used to do card reading stuff. This was before, like, I feel like spirituality has grown so much, but
oh
this
yeah.
is before all of that. So people thought we were a little like crazy at the time. But I felt very blessed to have my sister because I think and we're very different, but to have that person to go through that with you, because I know a lot of people when they go into their spiritual journey, they feel very lonely. Like they don't have anyone they can talk to about these things that are happening on their journey, right? These vulnerabilities that are coming up. So I was blessed to have her. And then when I got into hypnotherapy school, it was a small group. It was like a community. And instead of learning hypnosis, we were literally just going into hypnosis and all moving through our trauma. So it bonded us, even more. And so after that, I had done a lot of healing by then with hypnosis. And I was like, this is something I have to share with people. This is something that the world needs to be able to tap into because one, it changes a lot of our beliefs. So for example, an important belief is when we leave here later, we get in our car, we know how to drive it because our subconscious remembers how to drive the car. Otherwise, we'd be there for 3 hours. But the problem is if we learned a belief when we were younger, for example, I learned relationships always came with chaos and fighting and
Yeah.
people talking over one another. As I get older and I try to have healthy relationships, it wasn't working for me. So hypnotherapy can help with, changing those beliefs and seeing the world in a different way because the truth is not everyone's Italian, so they don't talk over each other.
Não parla italiano, you capisci, capisci, capisci.
Yeah, not everybody's Italian, so they don't yell and scream. There's other people in the world, and some of those parts of myself I still love and embrace, but there's other
Yeah.
people who show up calm, with holding space, letting you speak. They don't so those things were what I really learned
Yeah,
during
you,
all
you
that.
talk about Italian. I never felt this before, but it's amazing the things you've been talk about yoga. I remember that I want to start connect with yoga. Connect with yoga first than anything else, because I grew up in spirituality since I was 7 years old. But I walk ways to enjoy my life. I did a lot of drugs, alcohol to try to forget about my traumas for as a child, whatever. But one day, I just felt this. I used to live in another area here in Florida. I don't remember the gym is called Ballet, something like that. But anyway, so I find out there has a yoga class over there. So I look, oh, it's on Saturdays, 9 o'clock or something like that. So I decided to go there. But when I got there, it was a huge rooms upstairs. Now it's a lot of people. I said, but I did the opposite in you. I decided I'm going to the front row. I'm gonna be right there close to her because where I always has a huge fear to talk to people, be in front of people. But then I just decided to. I went there, my first class with her, right? So I went there and she was doing all these things. And just I was looking. But then I went to my second class. Then after that, I was so into that. I asked her, we still very close friends till today after more than 20 years. So when did you teaching in another place? Because you come here only once a week. She said, yeah, I teach here, teach this. Okay, give me the address at the time. Then I start going to some different places she used to know to work as well. No? So then after that, one day I decided, no, when I was in massage school to learn to become a yoga teacher, I went to her. But anyway, so yoga was the beginning for me. You know what I mean? So the rest, you know what I mean? So I just try to talk about too much about
Yeah.
me now for the time we have. But the other thing that you said about Italian, there are the place that I grew up in Rio de Janeiro was a lot of Italian people. It is so fun. I love this. A lot of Italian people. And oh my God, I remember my friend's mother making the pasta, the sauce.
Mhm.
That's one of my favorites food, Italian and Portuguese food because I grew up, you know what I mean, with a lot of Italian friends, you know what I mean. I used to
Yeah.
go to the house, they used to feed me, you know what I mean. Because the place I grew up, I used to leave the house like in 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, sometimes come back 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. My mother was fine. She never worried about a thing. It was so safe, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
everybody knew everybody. Then if he's not here, he must be someone's place. Someone's gonna feed them. And my mother used to do the same thing with some friends. Used to come to our place, It was a pretty safe place, but it's amazing that we have so much, synchronicity.
Yeah.
But
And the Italian, that's the beauty about the Italian culture is as I went through more of my hypnosis journey and I looked at some of the inner child stuff, I realized my parents, the fighting all the time, they're both just so passionate.
yeah,
And if I could, and this is something I've moved through, is if I can take those challenges, like me and you were talking before we even got on here, those things that I think are bad, but they're really not, can I transmute them? So all my
yeah.
parents fighting, can I transmute it into passion? Can I turn it into,
Italia, when they talk, I put it loud. They put, this.
uh-huh, so
Yeah,
much passion.
yeah, so much passion. Like I said, I grew up. I used to see my friends' parents talk all this stuff, and for me, it was just good.
And lots of family, lots of togetherness. So I was
Lots of food.
lots
Oh
of
my
food.
I love so much. But Christina, I just wanna, like I talked to you in the beginning. I had some heard some questions in here. The one thing that came to me to ask, is about let me see here, how we can connect, with within, and find the light inside ourselves. Now, this question come here to ask.
Yeah. Um, I think the biggest way that we can find the light within ourselves is to go inward. I think it's through connecting to other people, but I think first it's going inward and learning about yourself. And so I tell a lot of my clients when I work with them, they always say, "Oh, you thank you so much. You did such a wonderful job doing, holding space. You helped me so much." And I said, "I didn't really help you. All I did was hold space. You helped
Yeah,
yourself." And I'm a huge believer, like, even with everything that's going on in the world right now, I'm not saying that we should ignore it, right? We need to be aware. But the truth is, and some people will say it's like a very Pollyanna energy, but the truth is we need to look away from that stuff unless we're actually going to do something about it. Because I think if we go inward and we start to heal or have more awareness of ourselves, that's what changes the world. It's like the ripples in the ocean, the little droplets in the ocean that all make up the ocean. When we continue to focus on these things outside of us, it just creates more negativity. When we go inward, we're able to connect to God, higher power, source, whatever you believe. And I think that's where real change, real light comes from. You're being the lighthouse, right? You're not necessarily moving, you're just standing there shining that light in hopes that people will come to you, that you don't have to go outward and seek that.
beautiful. Thank you so much. I'd just like to say something about it. When I was listening to you before, that you said that you always know had this thing to help the others, right? To help the others. And this is something. that I just like to talk about a few minutes about this. This is something so important that I learned to myself because you're very blessed that you had your sister, right? So me, I had no one, but my mother, when I was alive and I was in Brazil, yeah, she always talked to us, but I never talked to my mother about my personal things, the things I was going through back then. Because my mother was such a beautiful spiritual person, such a beautiful, good person that I felt if I talked to my mother that someone was a sex abuse me, also other things, I was going to hurt my mother. I was
Yeah.
gonna make my mother to suffer. So I never said anything to her. I kept all the things with myself.
Yeah.
But when I say as I grew up, you know what I mean, so I was just trying, you know what I mean, I would just wish to have someone like you
Hmm.
had the sister, right? Like
Yes.
you had the sister. But one thing, when you talk about to help the others, they that's one thing that I used to do when I was young, help the others. I give an example. If you just we are friends over there in Brazil. This came, oh, hey Nando, oh, my friend Mike, you know what I mean, is in the hospital, you know what I mean, he has something, he's very sick, blah blah blah. I say, oh, Christian, what's his first name and last name? What hospital he's at right now? I say, oh, why not? Just give me. Then
Yeah.
I go there, say, hey, my name is Nando. Christina told me, Christina is my friend. She told me that you are here. I just come here, my friend, to just talk to you, see if I can do something for you, or pray for you. I used to do that for people. But I was such a angry kid,
Mhm.
angry teenager. But I had these things inside of myself to, I was, I was, I don't know exactly that I can say was a voice or something guided me to help people.
Yes.
But I think it was my spirit, my spirit, guided me to do this to help myself, to the pain that I was carrying inside myself,
Yeah.
the anger, so much stuff. But then, as an adult, I had I prayed and I asked God to send people into my life. This other area that I used to live before, the universe started guiding people into my life. One of them passed a few weeks ago. The other one, she passed about 3 months ago. It had so many others. It came to help me, to
Yeah.
help me. But one of those things, Max, is the one that passed 3 weeks ago. Now, he used to talk to me about to serve now because I was going through back then some serious personal things and I used to go to this metaphysical place and that I used to go there twice a week to work to people doing Reiki, healing, give message from the spirit. I remember one day I went there, I said, I saw him call Papa, I cannot do anything with people today. I cannot do Reiki. I cannot help anyone.
Right.
You know what I'm going through. My mind is no, my mind is on my problems right now. And then he said, Nando, I always have so much respect for him. If for the people God sent to me back then to help, he said, Nando, you're gonna do healing today. You're gonna do Reiki on people. You're gonna channel messages after service for the people. You're gonna
Hmm.
do your own things. In the end, you come to talk to me. I say, okay, Papa. So then I went there, I did the Reiki on a bunch of people. It's always someone talk about something. In the end, many different people give channel messages from the spirit for other
Hmm.
people. And then I went to him and said, thank you, Papa. Thank you for helping me. Because what he showed me through solving the odds when you're going through something so serious now, in the reality you are helping yourself as well.
Yes. Yes.
And,
And I was gonna say the thing you said about your mom and how you didn't want to put that on her. I think a lot of people feel that way, myself included. And this is gonna circle back to helping people, you know? I think that a lot of us are walking around with this idea, and I see it in a lot of the work I do and a lot of my community classes, is if we share these dark things, these challenges we've been through with other people, we're going to be loading our shit on them. But in truth, it's when we express those things with others, we actually help others because it creates vulnerability, it creates safety. So I feel like that's something I've learned on this journey was because I was always just wanting to help. I didn't realize actually the more I helped myself, the more I expressed my vulnerability, it actually helped other people because then they felt like they could share those things as well.
Yeah, one thing the Spirit talked to me a long time ago, he explained to me how important it is for us to help us solve the odds when you're going through something, doesn't matter what. But what Spirit said to me, say, when you open yourself to help someone, you disconnect yourself from your own problems that you are facing at the moment. And in that moment, you are open a channel for blessings come to you because you switch your energies, right?
Hmm.
Your frequency. The moment,
Yeah.
like I say, oh, I'm going through a divorce right now. I'm depressed. I'm going through a lot of anxiety. I can't sleep. You then say, Christina, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Nanda, I need to talk to you. I'm going through some. Oh, Christina, I'm sorry. I'm so depressed right now. I know all these things to my divorce. I lost everything. Please, no. No, no. Say, yes, Christina. Okay, go ahead. What do you like to talk to me? Go ahead. I'm listening. But then what the Spirit said at the moment, you change the energy inside yourself, and you because when I'm trying to say, when you're going through to a lot of things, you feel like you are sabotage ourselves, like you are blocking us. We are praying, but the help cannot come because we
Right.
are constantly connected to problems,
Right. And
right?
I think too what you're saying, and it might be similar, or just bringing it back around, and it's two things because I struggled with a lot of fixing. And I know there's a lot of people
Yeah,
out there, so I would suppress my own stuff and I would help, right? But at some point it became, was the helping out of not wanting to deal with my own stuff. So I would say to the audience is, yes, when you have stuff like you're going through a divorce, to go help someone else, if you can be in that space and still be vulnerable and authentic, you'll actually not only heal them, you'll heal yourself. But if you're just suppressing your stuff and you're going to help people, you're actually doing them and yourself a disservice because
yeah,
at that
yeah.
point you're just by
I love the way you explained it. Yeah, yeah, I love that. Thank you.
bypassing, and I did that a lot. I noticed growing up. That's why I bring this up was I was a martyr. And then I realized, but no, I was really doing it because I didn't want to deal with my own stuff. It was a way for me to get attention in another way or to, just to put my feelings so I don't have to deal with them, so I could detach from them. And so, yeah, I think helping is a beautiful way to also help ourselves if we're doing it from the right way and we're not just
Yeah, for
disassociating from our
yeah,
feelings.
for a place of love. To me always was everything is coming from a place of love.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I can feel, you know what I mean? Even when something I like to share quick, I'm always say this for my clients when I work to them, but I'm trying to say long time ago, more than 10 years ago, maybe longer. It's work with people, talk with people, channel message for the spirit to them, to help them. But in the end of the session, say, wow, a lot of those sessions, or a lot of those messages that I received, it's for myself as well, because I'm going through the same thing. I need to say thank you to them for
Yes.
what they did for me. Then at the end, they say, I just want to say thank you very much for what you did for me today. And they say, look at me, say, what are you talking about? I say, no, because the questions that you ask me, you know, today during the session, the message that I channel to answer your question, what helping me as well because I'm a human like you. I'm going through
Yeah.
some things as well. So because you came in here today, you help me as well. So I just want to say thank you for what you did here today. Thank you for helping me. It you today. I say that to my class. Thank you for what you did today for me,
Wow, that
for
that's
for helping
beautiful.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you work with a lot of clients, a lot of times when you channel something, you do something, you feel something better in yourself because you're still human. You
We're
still
human,
face,
yeah.
challenge every single day. I still have some things that need to continue work to myself, but those people are helping me as well. Like you are helping me today as well. Have this conversation here, sharing with us
Yes.
this beautiful love energy that you have, my friend. We always helping one another.
Well,
This
because
is
going
very
back to
beautiful.
the religion thing we talked about in the beginning is we're mirrors of each
Yeah,
other,
yeah, one hundred
right? So
percent.
we're reflecting back things we've been through or things we're going through. And so if that's what healing really is, or helping people really is. It's being able to hold that space, be that container. So then you can share and that other person can share and you can learn from it, but also you meet God there. It's like the Bible says, when two or more join, there I am. When we're alone, it's a lot harder for that. But when there's two people, God shows up in those people and you have that reflection. So, yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna say, I'm looking for the time we have, but I just like to say something for a couple of minutes when you talk about Bible. This came to me, too,
Sure.
and I'm gonna share that because I never read the Bible, and I'm not against the Bible, I'm not against anything, but something happened, I don't know, about 4 or 5 times before with me that I was channel message from someone and I receive a message from the Bible. This is true story, my friend. They tell the Bible has like John 2:2,
Yes,
whatever,
yeah.
something like that, right? But
I don't know too much about the Bible, but yeah.
but anyway, so I receive a message and say, "Oh, you need to go to the Bible." Then they tell me the page, the name of the person, the verse, this, that. I say, "Wow, where is this coming from? I never read the Bible." But then the person say, I, I if I ask someone of that, say, is there in the Bible, like Papa Max, one of my spiritual guides, or my earthly angel, the university of my life, I used to call him a walking library
Wow.
because you could ask anything to the man, anything to him, he has an answer. But then I went to him and said, Papa, is that in the Bible, this message? He said, yeah. Oh, okay. It happened about 3 times after that as well. And what I mean, so I channel, but I'm trying to say the reason this came here right now to share these things about Bible is to that taught me how to stay open. You
Yeah.
don't judge anyone, don't discriminate anyone, no religions, no beliefs, no nothing, because we don't know tomorrow where God gonna guide us to go for something that we are facing right now. Maybe to you, maybe to me, maybe to a Christian church, to a Buddha temple, to a Jewish temple. I don't know. But there was came to me, always stay open, always don't judge anyone's beliefs, don't
Yeah.
criticize anyone's beliefs, respect them. That's one thing the Spirit always talk to me. Till today, the Spirit constantly remind this: do not try to change anyone's beliefs. Do not try to make anyone believe in the things that you are saying to them.
Yeah.
Suggest them and
Yeah.
let them make a decision. They always talk to me about this. Let them make their own decision. If it resonates with them, good. If not, let it go.
Well, and that's why you're so connected to your guides. Even like you were talking about the gentleman that guides you, the guy that's full of all that wisdom. I think it's because when you stay open like that, right? Everything's inside of us. So
Mm.
even when I grew up in Catholic school, I never could understand why the Bible, it didn't resonate with me at the time. But as I moved through life, things I would say, they would be in the Bible, or I would know something and I didn't know how I knew it, right? It's because it's all in here.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, now I'm in such a beautiful place right now. If I have a friend conversation with you another day, then I start talk about something, then if you say, okay, I like to see something to you, I'm gonna be quiet and listen to you. But I'm such in a beautiful place right now that I'm going to be able to accept whatever that you are saying to me, whatever that you are suggesting to me to help me. This, I think, is something so important because billions of people this planet, went through so many things, going through so many things. A lot of people are praying, are asking for help, right? When the universe God guides someone to them, the ego pop it in, it protects them. They have so many walls. When you start talk to them, what they do? They, right?
And
It go,
when you have a lot of walls, you don't let anything in, but you don't receive the good stuff either. So you're keeping out what you think is bad, but with the wall, you're also not letting in the beautiful things.
but that's something that I did in the past with those people. Anyone that was come to me, talk to me about something, I was just okay. Like Papa said, no, no, you're gonna do healing today. In the end, you come to talk to me. He never explained to me anything. Oh no, go there because when you do this is gonna happen. You're gonna feel better. Blah blah blah. No, no. He just said, you know, you're gonna do healing today. In the end, you come to talk to me. Okay. So I, what I tell people sometimes, I put my ego on timeout. You are on timeout right now. I don't want to listen to you. I don't need right now. I'm gonna do what he asks, what he suggests me to
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
But that's something we need to practice to do every single day because when you ask, help will come. But you need to allow this help to come. You need
yeah,
to allow the person to talk to you because the right people will come to you, Christina, to
yeah.
help you.
Yeah, and I always tell people I don't do a lot of marketing. Most people come to me and I think God sends them.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. It's always aligned. It's like what you said, anytime I have a client, it's usually something I'm going through or I recently went through.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and if I can stay open, I learned that because I teach too Reiki and energy stuff. I learned that I'm not only the teacher, but I'm the student, and more so the student because there, no matter how much I think I know, I'm always like in awe of what I'm like learning because I'm like, oh wow, I don't know. And I think life's a mystery and it's meant to be that way, you know? I think if we knew it all, it would be too overwhelming and then we'd be bored,
Yeah.
you know?
I agree with you 100%. You know, every day that when I wake up in the morning, I just see myself as a baby.
I
You know,
love that. Fresh start.
I don't know nothing, and I have so much to learn. You know, I talk to my son. And say sometimes sometimes he says some things to me. Just the other day, he said, "Daddy, I like to listen to you. You have so much knowledge. You have so much wisdom, so much this, so much that." I said, "Yeah, Elias, Daddy, Daddy do
Well,
have something, but Daddy has so much to learn." And I always thought, I'm learning so much with you, Elias.
but it's
So
the
much.
innocence of a child and what you
Yeah,
just said. You start each day as a baby. If we could all do that, if we could all think every morning it's a fresh start and to be in the innocence of a child, I always say a child picks up a toy, they don't like it, they throw it down, they go on to the next thing. They're so open. Like you said, you have so much wisdom. They're so open and receptive.
yeah, 100%. But this
Yeah.
is beautiful. I just love this conversation. I wish we can talk here for another an hour, but that's okay. Maybe another day, another
Maybe
time.
another one. This would be great.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this has
Yeah,
been
if you open,
wonderful.
I'm open. I have some people who came, 3, 4 times here to talk to me. But what I love that I was listening to you, so many things that you went through, so many beliefs that you have. It resonates with me as well. Say, wow, this is you must maybe it was my sister, my mother, or something. No, I'm not joking.
Past life.
In another incarnation, one because I was listening to you. Like I said before, I feel like I talk to myself in the mirror. You know what I mean? Listen to her, the
I
yoga,
love
my
when that happens.
sister,
It's like
this. It's so beautiful, so
it
beautiful.
shows you how connected we really all are. And like that's everything is that connection to one another.
Yeah, we are all connected with one another. I believe 100%. But I do like to ask something else here. They came to me, to ask. The question is, how we can connect, with self-love.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. I think the self-love, again, it starts with going inward. Some practical tools I like to give people for self-love is if you struggle with that, if you give a lot of love to other people and you find it hard, because this is something I struggled with, again, when I like to be a fixer and a helper in the past, self-love is a little more challenging. So this is for the people who I would say they have a really easy time giving to other people, but they have a harder time giving to themselves. So I notice the reason for that is because if you've been giving to other people what they need, a lot of my givers don't know what they need. So I would say make a list of the things you need. And when I tell people that, at first they say to me, I have no idea what I need. And so that's really self-love is it has to do with our needs. And I think I know I was very disconnected from them because I was always, again, giving, giving, giving. So I didn't have to deal with my own stuff. And then I learned, wow, but now I'm like angry and bitter and resentful because I'm not getting what I need, but I didn't even know what that looked like. So I would encourage people to write that down and our needs change. Needs are important. We need to, not that people are always going to meet your needs, because the truth is that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's you being aware of what your needs look like, what they feel like, you know?
Thanks. That was very beautiful. We have a I respect the time that you give to me, Christina, but we're gonna kind of finish a little bit. But before we finish, I had the three questions. It's a small questions that I ask, for everyone in the end. The first one, who is God?
Oh, me, you, everyone, he's within
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
My
beautiful.
puppies, more so than anything, my puppies and kids, because they're the innocence of God, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And the other one, why forgive?
Huh?
Why forgive?
Why forgive?
Yeah.
Because I think that is the most important principle. You know, I've been I've been listening a lot because I think all religions are important, but I think the one piece is this Christ consciousness everybody talks about. And I would call it Christ conscience because it's about what we go through and how we move through the world and the things that happen to us and others. And it's not only forgiveness of other people, but forgiveness of ourselves. And I feel like that is so important to even be able to have compassion and love. If you don't have forgiveness, you can't really have compassion or love. So, yeah.
I love that. I never heard that. If you don't have forgiveness, you don't have compassion. Love. I love that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna use that if you allowed me. And the,
Yes.
and the, and the last one, why we are here.
Why we are here.
Yeah.
Well, one, I think we chose to be here, even though I know that's hard for some of us to
Oh,
believe.
I love you so much. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
But why we're here, I'm
Mm.
hoping it's to, raise consciousness, to have more connection, to be closer to God. I think that's why we're here. To learn, to grow. I always hear this guy I listen to, and he's amazing. His name's David Bear. Anytime I find his podcast, I'm always aligned with exactly what either I'm going through or I'm doing work with my clients. And he basically takes Abraham Hicks and just
Mm-hmm.
redefines it in a very simple way. And he says that we only came here to create. That was the only reason we came. Just like fish are born to swim, he says, and birds are meant to fly, we are meant to create. And that's why we came. We want to create. We want to create a beautiful world. We want to create love, connection, all those things.
Oh my God, I love it so much. I never heard it. We came here to create. Now I was listening, was thinking, it makes a lot of sense now.
Well, God's the creator, right? And
Yeah.
if God is within us, then aren't we the creator too?
Yeah. Oh, what came to me, I heard someone say, we are God, continuation of God. Wow, this came to me now.
Wow, beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's true because you are creating something. God put so much stuff here. All these beautiful beings, the past, they lived here before. It's so many others they still alive in here right now. You know what I mean? If you see if eyes talking right now, you see that we went through so much challenge in our lives in the past, but we create something.
right.
Now we are helping people. Yeah, you went
Uh-huh.
to school to learn some things. I went to school to learn some other things as well. But the things that we created was not did it came from school. It came from
Yeah.
our own experience.
Yeah. And our hearts too, right? So,
Oh my God, this is so beautiful. I want to ask you a favor, Christian, that you can tell people how people can find you, can share your website or social media, whatever that you feel
yeah.
God, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. They can just go to ChristinaMaffia.com. So that's I think it's up on the thing, Ristina. And the Mafia is just like the mafia, but with two Fs.
Oh,
My
I'm gonna
grandmother would be rolling over in her grave because it's really mafia in
Yeah,
Italian.
yeah. I don't want to. That's okay. I understand that. Yeah,
But
yeah.
I had to go with the cool. I like the cool mafia. It felt tough.
All right, that's good. Yeah, just give me a moment. I'm going away. I'm just gonna finish here, but just give me a moment. Thanks so much, everyone that took the time to listen to this conversation today. If you feel God, my friend, to reach out to her and me to me have a session with her, it's something that I always say. I like to say, we can fake many things with words, but energies, no one can fake, my friend. What she has. It's beautiful, it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I bless everyone with the Infinite abundance, and I'm sending a lots of light, love, healing energy for everyone. Thank you for love. I love you all. Namaste. Just one moment, my friend. Let me pause this.